You know, the good news about the new 1199 Panigale is that there are parts on the bike that are made in Japan. Even the instrumentation panel is made in Japan. So isn't that great? Because we all know that parts that are made in Japan are reliable, less to maintain compared with the parts that are made in Europe, and of course, a lot cheaper. So isn't that great? And you see, they even put a wet clutch instead of a dry clutch. Because they know that a wet clutch has less maintenance compared with a dry clutch. A dry clutch tends to break down more easily than a wet clutch. A wet clutch is more practical, really. So just imagine, there are no more belts to be replaced every 12,000 miles or every 2 years, whichever comes first. Isn't that great? And we all know that the economy stinks. The economy is so freaking bad. And Ducati is now owned by the Germans. Ducati is now owned by Audi. So, you know, they need to compete. They need to compete against the Japanese brands, you know. When I had a chance to ride my friend's Panigale, my first impression was, am I riding my Yamaha FZ6R? Because the riding position is quite different, really. You are not scooping all the way down like on any other sports bike out there. Your body is more upright, really, which is great, you know, because there will be less fatigue on the rider's arms, you know. It's a good thing. But of course, I'm not used to it, especially that I know in my head I'm riding a Ducati Superbike. So it felt kind of weird, really. I have ridden all the brands of Japanese sport bikes out there. Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, Honda. Their 600s, their liter bikes. I have ridden all of them. Now, in my own personal taste, opinion, and perspective, the new Panigale is more like a Japanese bike, really. Every time I ride my friend's Panigale, I feel like I'm riding a Japanese bike. The Panigale handles like a Japanese bike. Now, if you will ask me what's my basis, well, I ride a Ducati 749, I ride a Ducati 999, and I have ridden my friend's Ducati 1198. Now, the handling of the Panigale is totally different compared with the handling of my 749, my 999, and my friend's 1198. The Panigale handles like a Japanese bike. In my own personal experience, in my own personal taste and perspective, I prefer the older models. I prefer my friend's 1198, really, to be honest. The nimbleness that I experienced riding my Ducati 999 could not be found on the new Panigale. For some odd or engineering reason, the nimbleness that I found and experienced when riding my Ducati 999 and my friend's 1198 could not be found on the new Panigale. Now, don't get me wrong, alright? The new Panigale rocks. The new Panigale is so kick-ass. It's so easy to ride. It's so fun to ride. The torque is not as brutal as the other liter bikes out there, especially the Japanese bikes. The new Panigale is sick, really. In a good way though, sick in a good way. But for some odd engineering reason, I prefer the older models. Now, those Italian engineers say that the new Panigale is the most durable, the most reliable Ducati Superbike they have ever built. Well, I believe them. I believe them. Well, just imagine there are parts that are made in Japan. So, you know. Well, anyway, I have ridden my friend's Panigale more than 5 times. And every time I ride it, I feel like I'm riding a Japanese bike, really. The bike feels very solid. The bike feels very durable. It's a great bike. And I truly believe that the new Panigale is very reliable. Unlike my Ducati 749 and 999, you know, those bikes, sometimes when I ride them on the street, they just stall on me. You know, because, you know, the throttle positioning sensor is part of the maintenance BS thing. And sometimes the RPM goes down to 1K. So, you know, that is really low. So sometimes they stall on me when I ride them on the street. And, you know, it's quite kind of annoying, really. But what can I do? It's part of the Ducati BS problems. Well, anyway, disregard the maintenance thing, the maintenance part. You know, I love riding my 749 and my 999 because they are very light, very nimble, very easy to use on the canyons, really. But you know, my 999, when I rode it last weekend on the canyons, the gear just locked up on me more than twice. I don't know if there's an issue with the gearbox or something. I don't know. The gear just locked up on me twice and I could not downshift. You know, it was just BS. But still, I love the bike. You know, because of the nimbleness. That's the main reason why I love riding my 999 and my 749, because of the nimbleness.